Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good evening. Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. How you doing today, babe?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very well. I had a nice dinner.
We
How are
did.
you doing?
It was nice. We ate. We just got back from Detroit, and
Hmm.
we had to come back early. Unfortunately, we had a great time at the Black Wealth Builder Summit, and yeah. You always make me like that steak and potato dinner on every other Sunday, which I love. I love your cooking.
Well, it's just once in a while. Ever so
Can
once in a
you
while.
dig it? Oh my God, y'all have no idea. My wife not only looks good, but she is like the greatest cook ever known to man, and I really appreciate that. But yeah, we had a good time in Detroit. I learned a lot and I had a good time and hung out with Herb Strather and their crew down there. So anyway, how's everybody doing? Is everybody doing well tonight? Shout out the cities that you're from. Let us know what city you're from. I see Carmela is from Las Vegas. Oh, Neo got married in Las Vegas to Crystal Smith. Did you know that?
They got a Las Vegas wedding. Oh,
I
I
know.
love that.
I think Las Vegas weddings are kind of cheap, to be honest with you.
Do you
No, I mean no
really?
disrespect to Neo. I mean Neo is cool. We met Neo at the Breakfast Club. Were you there with me that
I
day?
was with you.
He was nice. He was very well mannered, very polite. But then that don't mean nothing.
Well, I mean, I talked to him for all of about what 30 seconds. Didn't
Right,
really
right.
say much
You
to
know
him.
what? I remember when we saw him. Here's the thing. To me, Neo's not a mega celebrity. I know up to other people he is. So I don't know any of his music, but
Are
I
you
did look up.
serious?
I looked up one of his songs that had 500 million views.
Yes, he had this one album. I don't know why I stopped listening to it, but I would listen to it over and over again.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
he
So he
had a.
must be talented.
It must. I'm trying to think if it was his first album. I think it may have been his first album, maybe first or second album. But it was, gosh, I want to say maybe 10, 11 years ago. He came out with this album, and it was the best album ever.
Yeah, it's
It's
funny.
so good.
I had a hard time really internalizing his star power when we met him on the Breakfast Club. I mean, I've heard the name Neo, right? And I just told him, I said, I saw you in The Wiz and you did a great job.
Oh, he was great in The
Yeah, and I
Wiz.
was impressed. But then I saw that video and I said, "Oh, 500 million views."
Mhm.
I think my YouTube channel has gotten 500 million views in a 10-year period.
Yeah.
So that's impressive. But yeah, so Neo was on our mind today, and actually let's shout out some of the cities. I want to do a shout back before we start talking about it. Everybody, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, let us know if you can hear us. Okay, give us a yes in the chat. Just say loud and clear or something like that to let us know that you can hear us. And you're listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. This is where my professor therapist wife, and I get online and we literally lay against our pillows and have the kinds of conversations. If you ever wonder what two professors talk about when they're in bed, then they might be naked, laying next to each other. This is what Pillow Talk is all about.
You're gonna say naked now. It's like a visual.
I
People
know.
are thinking about.
Well,
You shouldn't say that.
if I'm naked, if I say it, is that raunchy for me to say I'm naked, or is that honest? I don't know. It is
I
kind of
don't know if it's honest.
that
You
is
tell
that
me.
that's a little. It's almost like TMI.
Yeah.
Well,
No one needs to know.
speaking of TMI, I felt like Neil's ex-wife Crystal. I feel like that was a little TMI. So here, let me give y'all the background, okay? And we're gonna shout out your cities because I see you, Carmela, and Cheryl from Goose Creek, South Carolina, and Mona from Katy. I don't know where Katy is exactly. Beverly Jones from San Gabrielle, Larry from Rochester, New York, with all that snow. All right, so here's what got us talking today. Okay, so Neil's ex-wife, Crystal Smith, decided she was just gonna air him out on Instagram. And here's what she put up here. I'm gonna try to read some of this. It's tiny print on our screen, but it basically says years of lies and deception, 8 years of unknowingly sharing my life and husband with numerous women who sell their bodies to him unprotected. Ooh, uh-oh. Every last one of them. To say I'm heartbroken and disgusted is an understatement. To ask me to stay and accept it is absolutely insane. The mentality of a narcissist. I will no longer lie to the public or pretend that this is something it isn't. I choose me. I choose my happiness and health and my respect. I
Mhm.
gained 3 beautiful children out of this out of this, but nothing else but wasted years and heartache. I ask that you all please stop sending me videos or information of him cheating because what he does is no longer my concern. I am not a victim. I'm choosing to stand tall with my head held high. If someone can't love you the way you deserve them, then it's up to you to love yourself. With no hate in my heart, I wish him nothing but the best. Crystal Renay. All right.
Oh no, people were sending her videos.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty bad. That's pretty awful.
Yeah, yeah. They it looks so. It seems like they're having a tough
Oh,
split. And they got married twice.
oh, it's an on again, off again.
Yeah, like I think they got married and divorced or something, and then got married again. Or something like I saw something. I looked it up and I saw something about them getting married. I didn't read every single detail, but I could have sworn it said that they got married twice. What do you think about that? Just as a, I mean, you're a relationship therapist. What if a couple comes in and say, "Yeah, we got married, and then we got a divorce, then we got married again"? Is there anything that goes through your mind when you hear something like that?
Oh, it tells me that at least they were trying to make it work. I mean, apparently, there was no there was an agreement was there would be fidelity.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't sound as if she was on board with him having extramarital relationships, and they didn't make that agreement, and so she probably felt that it was the best for her own mental health.
Okay.
She seems like someone who was very hurt by what happened, and she kept. It seems like she's someone who gave him a chance,
Mm.
and perhaps because the thing is that people think that infidelity has to do with maybe I'm not beautiful enough, or maybe my spouse isn't beautiful. Maybe my spouse doesn't see me as beautiful enough, and that's the reason why he or she cheated. Or maybe I'm not doing enough in the bedroom, or maybe I'm not enough, and that's why my partner steps out on me. And I think that's a myth. Well, I know it's a myth. It's a myth, So people cheat for many different reasons, and it doesn't have anything to do with the person who they're married to. It has to do with their own development and their own issues. And so it doesn't seem as if maybe when she used the word narcissist, it doesn't seem that maybe Neo is able to put his marriage first.
Okay.
He's putting himself first. Yeah.
Okay. But I remember one time you had said that the word narcissist was overused.
Yeah, it is overused.
Yeah, and I think another word that's overused a lot is I hear the word toxic a lot. And it's usually women using that word to describe something that a man did. And when
Mhm.
I hear this, when I hear her, going off on the internet and everything else, and she's a pretty lady, I mean, she's, got these,
Remember, cheating has nothing to do with her
absolutely.
being beautiful,
Right,
right?
right. Oh, no, no, yeah,
Uh-huh.
absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you. I think, I mean, my thinking, honestly, maybe I'm just a little too pragmatic for some people, but I'm like, you married Neo. You
Mm-hmm.
married a man whose videos get half of a billion views, with
Mm.
90% of those listeners being horny women who
Mm-hmm.
are throwing panties at him on a daily basis. He probably gets women chasing him down everywhere he goes. So that just creates a different kind of relationship. And my thought is, I'm not trying to say that she only wanted to be with him because he was rich and famous, but I doubt she would see him the same if he was like a UPS driver
Okay.
or if he worked at Burger King.
Uh-huh. So you use the word narcissist versus toxic. So narcissist is a clinical term. And so
Mm,
you have to be a licensed professional to be able to diagnose somebody with narcissism, a narcissistic personality disorder.
mhm.
So it's not something, and even if you're clinically trained to be a therapist, you have to be specifically trained in diagnosing personality disorders are very difficult to diagnose. Just because you're an asshole doesn't make you a narcissist. you know
Mhm.
so I think people are just overusing a clinical term. Now, the word toxic, that's not necessarily a clinical term. That's just a term that people use. So I think when you disregard someone who you're supposed to be in love with and married to, and the situation is having its toll on your mental health and probably physical health, it's having a negative impact on the family environment and how you are with your children and all of that. I think that she is very hurt by that, and it's having a detrimental effect on her, and so she feels like she's doing what she has to do to get out of this
Right, but
situation.
you
So
married Neo. Right, but
no,
let me go back. Hold on, wait. That's my turn. My turn. I'm gonna speak for the fellas who don't have a degree in the field that you have a degree in. If you'd asked me 5 years ago, 8 years ago, you're marrying one of the most famous singers in the world who gets panties thrown at him everywhere he goes.
mhm,
What are the odds of him cheating? I'd say they're about 99.9%. I'm not saying that it's impossible for a guy like that to be completely faithful, but I really kind of wonder,
mhm.
like when you're chasing the celebrity bag, I don't understand what makes these women think they can take a guy who has sex with 1,000 women a year in some cases. These guys literally, somebody like a Chris Brown. Who would marry Chris Brown and really think that Chris Brown's going to suddenly become a different person? He's not. Chris Brown has had sex with thousands of women.
How do you know
He's
that?
because he's talked about it. He talks about it all the time.
I have never heard him.
They have go look
I've
at
never heard him
oh
say
go
that.
Google that. Go
Yeah,
Google
that's
that.
not
Or
anything to be proud of.
Lil Wayne. I remember I talked to a young girl that I mentored, and she had a big crush on Lil Wayne, and I said, "Would you want to marry a man like that?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Really? Why?" I said, Don't you know he'd probably cheat on you?" She said, "Well, maybe I could be the one to change him." And I'm sitting here like, what
Mm,
goes through a person's mind to make you think you can change who a person is? Because remember, that same
it's
hold on, okay, I'm gonna let you
mhm,
share your point, but let me finish this
yeah.
point. That same energy where she's saying, I'm taking care of me, my body, my choice. I do what I want.
Wait, who's doing that?
She when you hear these words, these are catchphrases. You hear lots of women using those words. I'm putting me first. I'm taking care of me first. Like she says it. She says that in her thing. I'm gonna take care of me. Well,
She didn't say me first though. She said I'm gonna take care of myself,
okay, take care of myself,
which
or
is what you have to do
I,
to
I
be a
I get that. I
mom.
get that. But
Uh-huh.
hold on. But let me finish though. That same energy. A lot of men feel like that's selfish. They feel like that
How is that
energy
selfish to
because she
take
should
care of
have
yourself?
because I don't think she should have been talking about her marriage on the internet. Number one, I don't understand like why it is suddenly the whole world invited into your marriage. That's between you and your husband. But
Hmm.
also there are guys who think the same way. There are men who say, "Well, I'm gonna take care of me first."
Well, clearly that's what Neo was saying.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. So I really
He
just
definitely wasn't
I
thinking
kind
about
of
his
just
wife.
yeah. I don't really feel sorry for you know. I think that we look at things really in a simplistic mindset. That's my point. I think
Wait,
that
well, don't you feel sorry? I mean, it. Yeah, okay. So I see what you mean. It's terrible for her to
like if
put.
she were my daughter, I'd warn her. I'd be like, look, you marry a guy like that, just know you're not marrying a regular person. You're entering into a world that's going to have a lot of complications that don't fit the white picket fence fairy tale that you might think that marriage is supposed to be. That's what I would probably say to her. Well, go ahead.
Yeah. So there's several things going through my head. The first thing is that I don't know why is it that just because a man is famous or has half a billion views on YouTube, why does that have to mean that the man is going to walk around and just be promiscuous?
I didn't say it does. It means he
I don't
will.
know, like, because it
I'm not
sounds like
saying it
that's
means
what
he
that
will.
was. I didn't know that was
I'm saying that
equivalent to that.
I know a lot of celebrities, and and I just find it really fascinating that
You know
people.
them personally? You know
Yes,
their sex life personally?
I'm
You know what they do?
I'm privy to conversations that maybe regular people don't aren't privy to, and
Oh, well
there
then.
are some men that really internalize the basic simple idea that says the same way a pretty girl can have access to wealthy men, a powerful wealthy man has access to lots of pretty girls. And
Mm-hmm.
so,
There
I'm not.
are, I mean, there are successful. I mean, I know there are. I mean, there's successful marriages where where the wife is successful and the husband is successful and
Absolutely.
everybody gets along. So, and there, so I've seen that scenario. Are you saying that it's impossible
No, I never said
for
no.
oh, okay. I'm
No,
just
anything's possible. I'm not saying it's impossible.
you're just making it seem
I'm saying
like
it's improbable.
she's just stupid to
I
think.
know. I'm not saying
You know
she.
what I
I'm not
mean?
calling
He
her.
may.
No, I'm not
I'm
calling her stupid.
okay.
I'm not calling her stupid.
Okay. It sounded like you were thinking like, oh, she's just dumb. Why would she think that Neo, someone like Neo, because he has a 500 million views on YouTube, why would she think that just because of that alone, why would she think that he'd want to be
because it
exclusive to her?
because it
Hmm.
happens too often. She has, in my view, she has what I
Hmm.
call the Halle Berry problem. The Halle Berry problem is when Halle Berry was younger. She's still gorgeous. Don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
but when Halle Berry was in her 20s and 30s, she was the prettiest. Marked as one of the most beautiful women on the planet. So what happened was she attracted a lot of men who are what I call big game hunters. These are famous men that are great athletes and famous celebrities and everything else. And and those men tend to be filled with testosterone. Testosterone is linked to infidelity. It's linked to promiscuity, and so all the studies show this. So what happened?
What study did you see? Because
Go.
I don't know
Well,
of a
hold on. Well,
study
you're not
that
letting me
was.
finish my
All right,
point.
I think we're educating the public, and I think that like
Right, look it up. Go.
there's no study that says that testosterone has really much to do with infidelity. Has to do with your personal development and being able to work on yourself and
Okay,
develop
we
yourself.
can date we can debate that later. So
Okay, it's not
I'm
a
gonna find a study.
debate. It's
No, no,
just
no, no. I
facts.
read
I can't
no
debate
no I read
facts.
articles about it, about
Oh,
testosterone.
show me
Yeah,
those articles because I'd like to
testosterone.
see.
Yeah, the bonding chemical that makes you loyal to a person is oxytocin, and testosterone neutralizes oxytocin. So individuals with high testosterone, like really ambitious people or athletes, tend to be promiscuous
Okay,
because
I'm not familiar
right,
with
but
that.
look it up. We'll look it up. We'll talk about this. But here's the point. You gotta let me finish. Christina says you can please let him talk. So you gotta let me
Oh,
talk.
people say stuff like that all
I
the
know,
time.
I
I
know,
just want to make
I know.
sure.
But we go.
I just want to make
I know,
sure
but you're
that you're
not letting me
clear.
finish my point. So let me finish my point here. My point is to say that the Halle Berry problem is that Halle Berry made the mistake that I think a lot of women make when picking men. They pick the most handsome, the most powerful, the wealthiest man. And what happens is in some of those cases is that you are entering into a space where there is a ton of competition. Don't get me wrong, any man could cheat. The garbage man could cheat on you if he's just a
Yeah,
cheater.
that's what I
Right.
was gonna
Right.
say.
So any man can cheat, but remember, Chris Rock gave women a little bit of honesty when he said a man's infidelity is typically based on how many options he has. That men who have more options are more likely to step out than men who have fewer options. Like a man that has to
That's
go.
not supported by the data,
I know it
though.
might not be, but I don't know.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna say this in my experience. That's what I've seen. If you have men that can literally be in their room and have women chasing them to their room, calling them every hour of the day, offering them whatever they want, I think that man is less likely. It's like an alcoholic. If you're chasing an alcoholic around with a bottle and offering him liquor all the time,
Yeah, but if
he's more
someone's not
likely
an
to drink.
alcoholic,
I get
you're
it.
not
I
gonna.
get it, but
Hmm.
availability does matter. Availability of a resource does impact demand of that resource. And so what I'm saying is that when you marry Neo, if that's my daughter, I'd say, this guy has, his everything around him. I watched that video. It was nothing but women, beautiful women in that video.
What video?
The video, it was for that one song where it's like walks like a boss, talks like a boss, or something like that. It had a 500 million views. I
No,
forgot what the song's called.
I don't know that song. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot what the
Hmm.
song's called. But either way, though, he was, surrounded by gorgeous women. These are real people, real women who are all on that movie set, all of whom are looking for an opportunity. Half of whom are probably willing to offer sex in exchange for an opportunity. I've been on Hollywood sets where I was making a low budget movie. Like I'm talking about a $15,000 project. I had actresses trying to sleep with me so they could get an opportunity to be in the movie because they were like, okay, if this is the guy who's paying for the movie, then he must be a baller. So I want to get next to him. And what I'm saying is that if a man does not have some sort of like keen insight or extreme discipline,
Hmm.
a young guy has a hard time walking away from that.
Okay.
I just don't know if we talk about that in an honest way.
So what you're saying is insight and discipline is what keeps a man from cheating, right? Okay. So then why can't Neo have that? Why can't Neo have insight and
I'm not saying he
discipline?
doesn't. I mean, you and I met him, but we don't know him, right?
Well, I didn't do
And
a clinical assessment on him when I met him,
right. And but to go back to
Uh-huh.
that Halle Berry problem, what I'm saying is that the Halle Berry problem is that if you remember, Halle Berry married Dave Justice, the top athlete on the planet, damn near, $100 million contract, good looking guy, and then the surprise when they can't have a traditional marriage. Then she marries Eric Benet, who was a sex addict because he was having sex with hundreds, maybe thousands of women on a regular basis. the guys who think that way, who live like that, or remember Winston Bennett, the basketball player at Kentucky. I was at the University of Kentucky. I remember how many girls would just cycle through that dorm, how many women a lot of those guys were sleeping with. One or two of them had a girlfriend and they were faithful. The rest of them, just women
Yeah.
just
So
coming.
some
So
had.
Winston Bennett goes out and gets on ESPN. Hold on, it says he was having sex with 90 women a month. Like Will Chamberlain, he's talking about 25,000. So I just really think that some people ain't fit for traditional marriage. That's my point.
Okay, so the thing is that Neil never should have married her if he knew that he wasn't going to be able to provide in that way, be a husband to her. She was
Mm.
married to him, he wasn't married to her, basically. So why would he, why would he even get married to her in the first place? So, so when you marry someone, you make a commitment for fidelity. That's what we have to assume because that's what she's saying. And he violated that. And so she's had enough of it.
Yeah, well, what they have to do
Mhm.
is, um, I think women should stop pressuring men to get married when they don't want to do it. That's
We
the
don't
because
know.
that's the no. But listen, let me give you a man's perspective. When I was single in my 30s and I said I'm not getting married, all I would hear is, "Why would you marry that girl? You wasting her time. That ain't right." And I'd be like, "Well, if I'm not interested in making this commitment, I'm not going to make this commitment." And so what happens is I think that there are some men who do it because they're like, well, if I don't want to think I don't love her, but so it's a tough balancing act between doing what's best for yourself versus doing what people are telling you is the right thing to do. But you're right though. I think people who aren't ready for marriage should not do it. And but then people who understand a man, if a man says he ain't ready for marriage, believe him. Don't force him to do it.
So I don't, to my knowledge, I saw the wedding photos. To my knowledge, it didn't look like she was dragging him. She was dragging him down the aisle. I mean, this is the reason why a man has to ask a woman to marry them, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, if he wasn't ready for that, and he still knew that he probably has some psychological issues that's driving him to be self-defeating of a relationship. It doesn't look at that picture. She's not forcing him to do anything. I
Mm-hmm.
don't see any force there. Look at
I
him.
think
He's smiling.
if I'm not mistaken, I think she's like a reality TV actress or
It
something.
doesn't matter. It
Not that
doesn't
that
matter.
matters, but I
The
just,
thing is that she had to have loved him. She's got 3 kids with him. She got to know him as a person,
I'm sure he
and she
loved her.
felt.
He just probably couldn't resist the temptation. Like Keisha says, maybe he married her and wanted to be faithful, but was too weak to resist. Maybe his intentions were to be faithful. That's what I think too. I think that it's like somebody that's on drugs, right? They'll tell you like I'm gonna stop smoking crack next week because it's upsetting my kids and it's messing up my life. But then they'd be right back at the crack house. So I think that some of those, when you talk about people that have maybe sex addictions, maybe because I think the celebrity lifestyle is addictive. I think that if you are a guy who is used to having women at your feet and having as many women as you want whenever you want, it's hard to sort of let all that go and then go to this sort of traditional simple lifestyle. So I would imagine that maybe he did bite off more than he could chew.
Yeah, it takes growth and maturity to be a husband and or to be a wife. It takes growth, maturity. It takes the ability to respect your partner because the best way to love your partner is to be faithful. Are you
Uh,
listening to me or are you reading something and
I'm
laughing at
listening.
it?
So I'm sorry, Demarcus's comment made me laugh, but I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
Okay, then what did he say since you're cutting
He
me off?
said I was in the military and it's hard for dudes making E3 pay to stop cheating.
Yeah,
You
it
can
really
imagine a
is.
dude with millions.
Yeah,
Go ahead. I'm
that's a really good comment. So I mean, you act as
sorry.
the thrust of what you're saying is because he has a 500 million views that he is going to cheat. But there's men there, actually, by the way, a man is more likely to cheat when he makes less money than his wife.
Mm,
Did you know that fact? I can
yeah.
show you that article.
Now that I believe you on. I believe you.
Yeah. So, and because the man is cheating because that's his way of like establishing his manhood.
Hmm. Okay. Well, by the way, everybody, you're listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and this is my wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. If you'd like a free e-copy of my book, I have a book called Financial Lovemaking, and you can have it for free. You can buy it on Amazon, but you don't have to buy it. You can actually have the e-copy for free. Just go to boyceandalicia.com. And also, if you are single, there is a database. My wife wants to build a database of Black people who are single that are looking for quality Black people to date. So if you put in your information, then somebody can reach out to you and maybe help you meet somebody nice. And so I think it's a great idea. Keisha says, "Yay, Dr. B read my post. I'm excited, respect, and admire the doc." Well, I respect and admire you too, Keisha. Thank you so much. All right. She's manifesting to be being a guest on your show. Okay, okay. Well, send us an email. Maybe we can make that happen. But so okay, so so let me ask you this. All right, so I was looking at this whole thing with Neo and his wife and her statement on Instagram, and my feeling is, if you read this right, this statement is pretty nasty. It's pretty detailed.
Wait, you think it's nasty?
I think that it's like it's. I'm not a believer in kissing and telling. I think that we have a culture that says if you're a woman scorned and you feel like you've been hurt, you have the right to go to the town square and get sympathy by telling your side of the story. I'm not a fan. I believe, if I put it this way, I would never marry a woman who would take our business and put it out there in public. And I wouldn't do that to anybody. I've been hurt too. I've had I've been cheated on. I've been lied. I've been misled. Whatever. I've gone through all those things, but never once have I ever thought to get on social media and tell the whole world about a person and ruin their career, ruin their image, do whatever I can to destroy them. I just kind of think that says more about you than it says about the other person. You know, I really do. I think like if I go out and if I'm like, yeah, let me tell y'all everybody, Dr. Alicia was a blah blah blah, and she's this, that, and the other, and yada yada yada. And people will be like, well, wait a minute, boys. A year ago, you were singing her praises. You were saying that she's this great woman, and now you're saying that she's a demon. That means you're not a good judge of character.
She just seems to be really fed up. She seems to be extremely hurt. Um, I think maybe if I had to get into her head, maybe she's thinking, if you're gonna go out there and flaunt your side chicks all in front of my face and not try to hide, you're gonna flaunt that in my face and publicly humiliate me. Maybe she's just like, you know what? I'm gonna make this statement, and I'm just let the statement be where it is. Like, maybe she's saying, I don't know why people would do that. I'm just trying to get into what could be going through her head. She's saying, you know what, you went out and you were publicly disrespecting me by hanging out with all these women and sleeping with all these women and being very careless publicly.
But he wouldn't put him on Instagram.
But people were sending her videos, so clearly he wasn't trying to hide anything.
Yeah.
So maybe this is her thinking. Maybe she's saying, if you're going to do this, then I'm just going to make this statement and be done with it. It's not like she's spilling all the tea. She's not naming names. She's just saying, I've just had it. I'm just trying to figure out what she's thinking about. She's very hurt and frustrated. It seems as if, this is a good example of why love is not enough. Love is not enough to marry somebody.
Well, you know what?
Just because you love somebody don't mean that that's the person you need to marry.
Well, I would say this. I do agree love is not enough. But I also think that maturity is something that you should look for in a good partner, meaning that it's not just enough to be with someone that's good when you're together. The question is, how are you going to behave when we're not together anymore, when we're apart? Are you capable of walking away and will we maintain our dignity? Or are you a person that's got to make it trashy and crazy in a circus? And I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of, and I guess maybe I'm biased, right? When you talk about toxic behavior, we can talk about toxic things men do, right? When you talk about lying and cheating and beating women up and things like that.
Women do that too now.
Women do it, but those are more masculine behaviors typically. The women can't hit a man. A woman can hit a man, but if you hit me, I'd just probably laugh. It wouldn't hurt because you can't really hurt.
Yeah, but
me.
if anybody in an intimate relationship, when you're upset at somebody and you hit that person out of anger, that's abusive.
It is.
I don't care what gender you are.
But what I can say is the times I've been hurt by a woman and abused by a woman, it didn't involve anything physical. It was behavior like this. I'm going to embarrass you and ruin you, or I'm going to call your job and make you look bad at your job. Or I'm going to go and claim to be the victim when you and I both know that you wasn't the victim, but because you're the woman and I'm a black man, you can easily make yourself the victim. And I personally just think I would define that to be toxic feminine behavior. I think that this
Well, it's
lady.
toxic behavior. I guess feminine because it came from a woman, but it's still toxic behavior. You'd be so surprised how often women will hit a man out of anger. Like
They
it
will.
happens in domestic violence situation. It happens more than you would think.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Don't get me wrong. I totally agree. But I just don't. I think that there are. What we got to do is like, if you
Mm-hmm.
exclude the women that will go off and punch a dude out,
Yeah.
what are the other things women can do that don't involve any
Oh,
physical
they do
violence?
quite a bit
Like
of
I
financial
believe, right. I
abuse.
believe women
Mm-hmm.
have power. That's my point. Like I think that this narrative that men are the only ones who have the power, and that whenever a relationship goes bad, it's because the man hurt the woman, and people.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it, people will call themselves abuse survivors, and no one ever says, "Well, what actually happened? What did he do, and what did you do? What's his side of the story?"
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, and if you're the kind of person that's just like talking trash about somebody online, and then you date another person, and then you do another post that's the same thing,
hmm
it's like, God, good grief, you can't get along with anybody, and you have to blast everybody out online. Then people are gonna start looking at you, thinking, "What's wrong with you?"
right? And
Like you're the common denominator.
it's because men are bad and men do this and men do that. Like they start, people start getting those generalizations, and I would just say that, I would just tell you this. I told you that story. I think I mentioned it before, so I'll mention it again. But when I was single, before you and I started dating, there was a lady I was interested in, and because I knew that dating was a serious decision for me, because I was somewhat public, not majorly public, but enough. I was very careful. I did not just pursue a woman because we had a good conversation, because she was cute. I would observe that person and see, like, is this a woman that has class and dignity? How does she respond when she's upset or whatever? Does she get ghetto and crazy? I didn't want to be with a ghetto crazy woman. So there was a lady I met who honestly, I have a type. She was kind of like yourself, beautiful black woman.
Wait,
With
I
well,
am not your
I do.
type.
You
I
are.
didn't think I was your
I know
type.
you don't think you're one of my. How about this? You're one of my types. I know
Because
you.
I've seen some
I
of the
know
women
you've
you've
seen the
been with. They
right,
do
and that,
not look at
believe me,
all anything like me.
it doesn't make sense to you, but it makes perfect sense to me. So anyway,
You don't like when I say that.
she was a pretty lady, very smart, and and I was like, okay, let me just see what's going on here, and we just became Facebook friends, and she just made this crazy post about her ex and was like airing out all this dirty laundry, and I just felt like it was inappropriate. It's like, I get it. I understand. Maybe he was a son of a bitch. Maybe he really did these terrible things, but he's not here to defend himself. And right now, both of y'all are looking kind of ridiculous, because you're 40. You're not supposed to be out here in these internet streets acting like a damn lunatic. You handle your business. You say, look, like and maybe I just get this from business, right? In business, people have no idea. Believe me, if I sat here and aired out all the dirty laundry of all the prominent people that the audience would know about. These are names that I could mention, and everybody would know who these people are, and talk about the terrible things that happened with these people, things they did, times I've loaned. Really, there are famous people on the internet I loaned thousands of dollars to, who did not pay me back. Right? I could easily, and it still makes me mad, but I will never say a word about it, because I know it makes us both look stupid. So no, you take your licking and you keep on ticking. You learn from the experience and you move on. You don't get out here in the court of victims like, oh, I'm such a victim. Everybody's hurting me. No.
It's not everybody. She's just saying, I'm moving on. It ain't working. There's all this cheating going on, and I'm moving on.
I can see that.
And she's really actually what she's doing is she's saying, I'm not gonna be a victim anymore.
Yeah, and I get it. But
That's what I
well, go ahead. I'm sorry. You were talking. My apologies.
that's what I see. I see her saying, enough is enough. I'm going to make this statement. We had, maybe she's thinking we had a very public relationship. So when the relationship is over, I'm just going to make this statement about our very public relationship. And it is now coming to an end. Maybe that's what she's thinking.
I think the statement would be,
I don't know.
I think a good statement would be, we had 3 beautiful children together, and for the sake of the children, we respect privacy. We would ask for your
You
privacy at this time, and we'd like to reconcile our differences and
in private.
in private,
Yeah.
and make sure that our children are okay, right? Because I don't believe the children are ever benefited when you go airing out the other parent's dirty laundry. I don't care if your daddy was a Rolling Stone. I think the kids could figure that out on their own. It ain't your job to tell them. Just like if mama was a hoe, or mama was a ridiculous, or mama was an alcoholic, the kids don't need to hear that coming out of daddy's mouth. I just don't think that helps the kids. I think that upsets them. And everybody has these relationships, but nobody talks about the kids.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think the message should have just been, you know how people say just pray for us in our time of difficulty right now. Just
Yeah.
make a statement like that and just let everybody figure it out, because the thing is, the people who are close to her and the people who are her confidant, hopefully she has a good support system. All of those people know what's going on.
Hmm.
But we shouldn't know what's going on. So I agree with that part.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And really, even truth be told, I wouldn't, if I was really hurt in my marriage with you, maybe I would share one or two pieces of information with someone if I was really close. But honestly, most of it, I would feel like the more I tell other people about our marriage, the worse I'm making the situation.
I agree with you. I think that any issues that anybody has in their marriage, you should talk about it with a licensed professional.
There you go.
I think that you should.
Boom. There, you said a word right there. I think that's so true. But I think if you have a couples therapist, and then maybe you need a personal therapist,
Mhm.
and then you can dump all that out. But if you're dumping all that out to your sibling or to your parent, you're just ruining. It's like Chernobyl. Like,
Mhm.
Chernobyl, they have the meltdown, and then you can't live in Chernobyl for the next 10,000 years. Like, it becomes toxic on a high level, where
Mhm.
now that person that you have aired all your dirty laundry to, they will never treat that person the same. You
Well,
know,
you just don't want people to think anything negative about your marriage. If anything, just say, you know what? I really love him. Pray for us. That's the best thing you can do.
there you
I
go.
really love her. Pray for us. Just pray for us
I
that we'll be
agree.
fine. Don't give any details
That's funny.
out.
But by the way, everybody, you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and this is my wife, the therapist professor wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. And Alicia sees clients on a regular basis, and helps them with their relationships. And she's licensed to do this at a very high level. So if you'd like to learn more about what she does, you can visit coachingwithdralicia.com. And also, some of you had asked me how you can actually promote your platforms or your products or anything on our space. If you are interested in doing some advertising with us, you can go to drboycefinance.com. So we made that available. We have Dr. Boyce shout outs that I can do during my podcast. And we have about 1 million subscribers on different YouTube channels. And so we'd be happy to promote your business or your product. So just feel free to go to drboycefinance.com. All right. So let's kind of like sort of wrap some of this up and
Oh,
package it into something that we can all walk away with and feel good. Because I don't want this to just be a gossip fest about Neo and his wife, and I apologize to anybody that feels like I might have done that, because I'm not trying to do that. Um, I would say this, and then I'd like to get your perspective, just as a professional and as a therapist and a thinker, and as a woman as well. But my thought is, if you are a person, male or female, and you are popular on a platform and you have something to lose, I think that dating has to be something that you do very carefully. I think that one of the challenges I would have with Neo is, I would say, okay, let's say that you are running around with all these random women. You got to be careful, because all those women now have Neo stories that they're going to repeat for the rest of their lives. They can all talk about all the little things that they saw from you that the public doesn't know about. And if somebody decides to go and make wants to blow up their podcast with stories about my time with Neo, they can do that. People can build a whole career off of ruining your brand, ruining your name, talking about private things that you wouldn't share with anybody. So I would say be very careful. And where the area where you have to be most careful, I think, is with a spouse. You know, um, and I would probably say to him, okay, you might be upset that she's doing all these things in public, and I think he's handling it well. He basically just said, "I'm not going to address private matters." That's literally what his response was. But at the same time, I think maybe thinking twice about marrying somebody who is going to decide to air your personal laundry out on the internet is an issue. Even same thing with Will Smith being married to Jada. You know, I get it. You married her 30 years ago, or whatever the case was, but you know, I don't think Jada's red table talk has been beneficial to Will's brand. And I would personally, I think, you know, being with people that have some sort of discretion and the ability to know what needs to be private, or just class. I think class and dignity. You know, I'm a fan of that. You know, I don't know, but maybe that makes me old fashioned. What do you think?
Okay, so I think that a healthy marriage is possible. A healthy, happy, non-toxic marriage is totally possible, and it doesn't matter what type of testosterone is going through your system. It doesn't matter how much money is in your pocket. You can have $1 million in your pocket or 2 cents in your pocket. It doesn't matter. You can, if you're black or white or whatever the makeup of who you are, if you work on yourself and you are committed to another person in your marriage and you want to establish a healthy form of trust, a healthy form of respect for each other, it can happen.
Mm,
You in either you're in Hollywood, the music industry, you're on Wall Street, you're at universities, you work at Starbucks. It doesn't even matter. It you can have a nice, healthy relationship.
okay, I love it.
Hmm.
By the way, Keisha wants us to know she's a novelist and that she says her novels are fire. I gotta give you the shout out, Keisha, because I'm seeing you, girl. I respect your drive, girl. Keisha gonna be famous. We gotta be nice to her, okay?
Oh my
So
God!
we can
Even
say I knew her
Keisha,
way back then. I could be like, yeah, Keisha Thompson used to listen to my podcast back
even Keisha
before she made
Thompson,
her millions.
she deserves love, and that's the point.
Yes,
It's like
yes, she does. Everybody say we love you, Keisha. Go ahead. I'm sorry,
I was gonna say.
and I love you too.
Okay, I love you too, boys. You know I do. Okay, I was gonna say, men want to be seen and they want to have intimacy too. They
Mm,
want to be seen. They want to be heard. um if when they do the work on themselves, they want to be in a relationship where they're with a significant other, someone who sees them, knows them, accepts them, understands them, and they want to have that deep level of intimacy. You can't have it when you're going around just having one night stands.
mm,
It's almost like you're putting up a wall when no one can just penetrate and get to know who you are.
hmm.
It's got to be really empty after a certain while.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe you're just going off sowing your oats and putting notches in your belt, so to speak. I mean, after a while, that's got to get old.
yeah. And almost, honestly, I even wonder if and I think I've seen people do this where they separate sex from marriage. I knew a guy who was pretty gay, but he had a wife and 3 kids, and they were married for 30 years. And I think that it just seemed to me that the wife understood that the husband was not going to be eating lunch at her restaurant, if you know what I mean,
Hmm.
and she was going to be, like outsourcing her sex, but they
They had an
but they were
agreement.
they were really good friends, right? They were really
Okay.
good friends, and they raised 3 awesome children, and never got a divorce. Like that, sex was something they didn't argue about.
Hmm.
But at the same time, though, that's so different, you know, from from the traditional model of marriage, right? And
Hmm.
so it kind of
Or
makes
even
things
a
complicated.
modern marriages aren't normally like that. So if it was good for them, if they like it, I love it.
Yeah,
If they can agree to that. There are a lot of women I know who are married to bisexual men.
yeah, yeah,
You'd be surprised.
yeah. Well,
And they don't seem to have an issue with it. So, hey.
you know what? If that makes you happy, then I'm happy for you. Well, by the way, guys, so we're gonna head on out, and Alicia's website is coachingwithdralicia.com. You can go and take a look at the things that she does, and also don't forget the All Black National Convention is gonna happen the October 28th through the 30th in Charlotte, North Carolina. This week I'll be at the Power Networking Conference if you're going down there in Houston, And so the All Black National Convention is the big family reunion of all the B1 people around the world. You're gonna love it. In fact, let me pull up the trailer so you guys can watch the trailer real quick. So stick around and watch. Let me show you guys this trailer if you would hang out, and I think you're gonna like it. So let me see. Hold on, here we go.
It's about how to empower Black people.
It's really encouraged me, revitalized and invigorated me.
It was a phenomenal experience to see young Black leaders and future leaders come together.
This is just amazing to see all of our people come together. And so many people have been able to learn a lot and also get education. It's such an amazing networking experience.
And just pure love, pure Black love. It's absolutely transformational.
So there we go. So if you'd like to join us at this year's convention, if you go to boycewatkins.com, you can find a link for the All Black National Convention, October 28th through the 30th. And Alicia's going to do speed dating again this year, which was a major hit last year. We're also going to have panels on everything from politics to crypto to real estate to relationships to everything in between. So, and we even have a children's track where children are going to be able to learn about economics and STEM and everything else. So join us in Charlotte, North Carolina, October 28th through the 30th. You're going to love it. We're going to be at the Downtown Sheraton Hotel in Charlotte, which is awesome. And I can't wait to see everybody. So any parting thoughts before we head on out, babe?
No parting thoughts. I think this was a good conversation. I wish these two people well. We will learn from their experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I would say my parting thought is keep your business off the internet. I think that, like I'll tell you, if we ever had problems,
he embarrassed her publicly, so she said, "I'm just gonna put that out there publicly."
So tick for
that's
tack.
not
Okay,
that's
so
not the best way to deal with things. By the way,
right? No, I'm not justifying it. I don't
Yeah.
care. You
No,
can,
it's not justified. I think we should be able to explain behavior,
we can explain it, but like
that doesn't justify it.
if you embarrass me publicly, I would not say anything about it on the internet. I would just deal with it privately.
Well, she
That's
doesn't feel that way.
Because think about it. I've done this, right? I've had people blast me publicly,
Yes.
and like Kwame Brown when he decided to do all those videos about us. I was like,
How did I get in the video? I didn't say nothing
because
to him.
he's still mad because he sucked at basketball and he wants he's mad at the world. That's what it was. So it was like
Let's let that sleeping giant sleep.
Just let it sleep.
We have to do
Yeah.
that.
But that's literally what I mean. It's one of those things where I just said, well, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm not going to get out here and humiliate myself by engaging in Black immaturity. I just think that to me is toxic when you get Black people out in the street fighting like ragamuffins. It devalues who you are, and I think maintaining your dignity is a good approach to take 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, she could have written it a little better, but she also could have really slammed him in a major way.
Well, she hit him.
I think calling him narcissistic, I don't know. I think she probably could have left that word out, but she could have gotten worse.
Well, I thought it was funny that she at the end says, "I'm not a victim," but then the whole time you make that whole statement, you're acting like you were a victim. If you're not a victim, then don't act like a victim.
Well, I think what she was saying was that I can't live this lie no more. I can't have everybody thinking that everything is like so perfect and it's not. I think that's what she was saying.
I get it, but why you got to make the announcement? Just make the decision. You're not the announcement. The announcement to me is extra. And also remember, you're taking money out of your pocket. This man's going to be paying you alimony. He's taking care of your kids. So if you ruin his career, you're ruining your own income stream. So look, seriously, if you are my famous spouse and you done did some raggedy shit that's going to make me have to take you to court and take you for everything, that's cool. But I need you to be out here singing and performing and making money so you can pay me my alimony and make sure I'm good for the rest of my life. That's strategic thinking.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would tell her if she was my daughter. I'd be like, look, let him sing, let him go. He got the hoes, he got the lifestyle. Support that. and just make sure he's writing big checks so that you can move on and recover from whatever mistake you made by marrying this
I
man.
would love to see him do some inner work. I would love to see him get a therapist. I would love to see him do some inner work. I would love for him to marry this lady again. Third time's the charm.
Well,
Didn't Arsenio, not Arsenio Hall, but who was the guy that married his wife a bunch of
I know
times?
Elon Musk did it.
No, it wasn't Arsenio. It's another black comedian. I can't remember his name.
No,
But he married his wife a few times.
no, ain't that?
Anyway,
That's abnormal.
it can happen.
Abnormal behavior. All right, so anyway, we're about to head on out of here. My name is Corey. Says I missed the last 2 options classes. It's okay, man. Everything is recorded, and there is another class coming. Corey, we decided to add a bonus class, so we are going to meet Thursday night. And if you guys want to join us, we are talking about stock options on Thursdays and teaching some pretty good stuff, I think, in terms of generating income from stock options. It'll boost your income. I guarantee you that. So feel free to go to boycewatkins.com if you'd like to go take a look. We actually made a 70% discount on the recorded version of the class that lasts, I think, until tomorrow night. So if you want to go take a look at that, feel free to go to boycewatkins.com. All right, everybody. Well, please have a good night. God bless you. It was awesome talking to you. And I wish Neo and Crystal the best. And whatever you do in your relationships, just make sure it's strategic, because family, that institution of family, is incredibly important. And you want to protect it with intelligence, thoughtfulness, and maturity. So make a plan to be successful if you don't want to fail. So take care, everybody. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye, everyone.